So now that all the bulk stuff is done and the structure is basically built, now it's time for all the time-consuming stuff, all the finish work. So currently I'm just filling these little seams here with Bondo. I was using a short-haired fiberglass Bondo. It's a little difficult to work with, but it does fill big gaps, and it says it can fill up to a half-inch hole. So I'm using, I'm trying that and just a regular Bondo that you do, like, you know, body work on a vehicle. But it's working out. It looks pretty, I mean, it probably looks like garbage, but we're going to cover it with glue and canvas. My wife would tell you that we're going to decoupage my camper shell, but we're going to call it Poor Man's Fiberglass because that sounds a little better. There's a seam right here. There's a stud right here. No, there's a stud right here, so it missed a stud. So I'm going to show you what I did to make this seam like there is no seam. So I cut a strip of 1/4 inch plywood, 4 inches wide and about 29 inches in length, and I slathered it with wood glue, tight bond. And then I use these 2x4s at particular different levels and another board to apply upward pressure so it's a tight bond. Get it? Tight bond. And so that seems to be working fairly well. I have framed in the other window here. I just have to put little 45-inch or 45-degree pieces here. I'm not cutting the windows out because we're doing Poor Man's Fiberglass, and that means we're just going to stretch canvas around it and then coat it with more glue. And then once that's done and dried and cured, then I'm going to just use a flush bit router bit and cut out the window and put those in. I have also purchased a couple porthole windows. I think they're super cool. And so I have two. I'm going to put one here, and I'm going to put one in the door. And I just had a subscriber tell me that he put one on the front of his camper, which would be right about here. Somewhere in this area. That way it lines up straight with his window, and then he can see into the camper, or when he's in the camper itself, you can peek out and look, see what's going on in the world on this side of the camper through the windshield of your vehicle, of course. So I'm going to do that. So until then, we're just going to do more Bondo work and make this smooth so I can cover it in canvas. Okay, moving right along on the camper here. Most of the filling, or the hole filling and the seam filling with the Bondo is almost done. It's looking really good. Gotta sand a few things there. I have added this little overhang here because my roofing experience, we need some kind of a eave drip. This is where the door is. I may do an access panel right here, kind of leaning towards it. And so when the water runs off, it needs to just drip. If this wasn't here, it would just run down into where my door is. And here's my door. So far, looks pretty good. So we're building there. Now I'm gonna do some cross supports and some extra stuff for the knob there. But it's looking like it's gonna rain in a couple days, so I gotta get this thing going here. So I just built a simple frame for this door. I have routed in where the hinge goes here and not to here. It just seems to work out. These are just regular residential hinges. These are just residential, like, not 2x4s, but 2x3s, but that's the same thing that's in your house. I do have it cased in poplar on the other sides here. The door's square, believe it or not. It's a good reveal all the way around. I will weather strip it, and I will put some backing piece, oops, I'll put a backing piece right here so the door has something to pitch against, and then we're gonna sheet it and this stuff. As you can see, I put this little porthole window here, and then I'm gonna have another one about right here. Look like eyes looking at you. Well, I ordered me this here canvas off of the Amazon, 9 by 12. I didn't know if it was going to be big enough. I didn't think it would be, and it's not. So I'm probably going to do the back and the roof, and then I have another canvas tarp. It's a little different though, so I don't know. But they suggest that you wash this. So I'm going to throw this in a washing machine real quick, and then dry it, and then we'll get after it. So while I'm washing my drop cloth in the washing machine, I got this Harbor Freight one I checked out. It's the same size. It has a seam running right down the middle of it, so I can't use that for one big piece. But I did cut off a piece, and I'm gonna probably just do the back side here and use the one that I got that's in the wash for the roof and whatever else I can. I need both tarps because it's not enough with just one. So I just waterproof the very underside. All the parts that are going to be touching my truck. I used this stuff, this waterproofing wood finish. I used it on my deck at the Fortress of Solitude when Paul and I rebuilt the east deck, and it seems to work really well. So just waiting for my wash to get done, and we'll get back after it. This is my very first attempt at Poor Man's Fiberglass. I got a piece of my Harbor Freight canvas, a little bit bigger than what I needed for the back side there, and I had my stapler and a 1-inch chip brush and my Titebond 2 glue. I started by gluing up on that upper seam there. I'm putting a bead of glue, a little bit, and then stapling the canvas up there so that it'll hold in place. Having done this, I would have done a little bit differently. I would have just painted the whole thing with glue. I used a foam roller, which I would not recommend. You need more of a nap roller. So I started this a little later in the day, later than I anticipated. And once I got into my flow and figuring out this Poor Man Fiberglass stuff, got into my rhythm, the sun went down and I lost my light. So the video is going to get dark here in a sec, and I'll just shut it down. Good morning. So I woke up at 6 o'clock this morning, had a cup of coffee, and came out here and got right to it. Didn't film it, sorry. I'll film the last little section I'm going to do here. But I did the back wall here the other night, and did time lapse of that. That was a learning experience, I'll tell you. This Poor Man's Fiberglass is, you got to do it once, and then you'll establish a rhythm. My buddy told me you need way more glue than you think, and I did. Anyway, we got it all done, mostly, so it's all still wet. All I have left to do is the front thing, and I'll film that. have a few tips I think might be helpful, but it's looking good. Now it's been hot and I've had to wait like 2 days to do this, just because it's been like 100 degrees in April, which I've lived here all my life, and you're either wearing a coat through April or you're swimming. I guess this year we're swimming. So anyway, I woke up early and the weather's beautiful, and what I found helps is if I kind of dampen the canvas. I don't know if that harms anything, but man, it sure does go a little bit better. So all I do is I take my little sprayer here and just give it a light dusting. And what it seems like it does is it just makes it a little easier to use. It just adds a little moisture in there, makes it cool. And then the next thing I'll do is just paint this with glue. I switched up my roller to the more furry type. It has way more nap is what they call it, and that is a game changer. That really spreads the glue well. Make sure you get extra glue around the edges there, and just check and make sure that that parts aren't drying before you put up your canvas. I put this canvas up. It was just a little moist from me spraying it with a little bit of water, and it just stuck up there really nice. And then you'd be amazed at how much you can work with it, pull it tight during this whole process. And there it is. That only took about, I don't know, 10 minutes. It was a little prep work. I cut the piece fairly close. You saw me dampen it. I don't get it soaking. I just put a little bit of moisture in it just because it's already 80 degrees. I'm only doing this because this is the shade side. It's looking good. This was fun. Working around all of this, cutting reliefs. Now, we're gonna get cranking again. Yahoo. Well, that's gonna do it for this video. We're gonna let this cure for 24 hours. And then tomorrow morning, I'm gonna paint it, and you get to see what color I chose. It's dark. And then after I paint it, we might be cutting the windows out and mounting it to my truck tomorrow. I don't know, we'll see. But if you like this kind of thing, go and hit that subscribe button. Hit that thumbs up, that helps out quite a bit. I'd like to thank Dave from Endgame Campers for helping me out through this whole process. We bounce ideas off each other, and it's been a really good deal. So with that being said, we're gonna check back tomorrow and get cranking on this again. So thanks for watching Bearded Adventure.